No, pledging our loyalty, Ali. I like that. What do you mean, so what's the joke, as if I'm not about to tell it? What do you mean? What do you mean? Yeah, it's like 1800. Well, I mean, I can't really do anything about that. I'm sorry. The schedule is usually up to date though, so if you check the schedule, you'll know what the stream is gonna be. I don't think I can fix it. Like it just embeds it. It's automatic. I don't make the post every time it goes live, so I don't know that I can do much about that. Hi, how are you? I mean, I could see. It's just was it me 6? Just me 6. But I don't know if it's going to be possible. I think the best way is just to take a peek at the schedule and see. How's everyone doing? I don't know if I should have music on in the background while I tell this joke or not. I don't know if that would be helpful or like, nothing with lyrics, but I guess just like atmospheric music. I don't know what I would play. I don't want it to get claimed on YouTube, so maybe not. Let's see. Twitch alerts. Going live. You're very quiet? I'm not. I'm not according to my levels. It looks like it's the normal levels that it's always been. Do you have the joke memorized at this point? No. Are you sure you're thinking of the right joke? This is not the barbiturate joke. Let me see. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think it lets me add anything else. Like, let's see. Me 6 show stream title. Yeah, no, it doesn't look like it. Sorry. I don't see anything. Yeah, Twitch is streamer and link variables only. Sorry about it. You'll have to check the schedule. You're way quieter than any YouTube video or stream would be? My brother in Christ, what the fuck do you mean? If I were to stream this on YouTube, I would be the literal exact same sound that I am now. Like, buddy, I think this is on your end. I think this is a you problem. Do you want me to fucking scream at you? I mean, your peak volume is quieter than my buddy, I can't fucking help you with this. Like, this isn't my problem. This isn't a me thing. No one else is having this issue but you. Like, I don't know how you have your volume set up, but everyone else is fine. So this is like, you come into the chat and complain twice in a row about things that I literally have no control over. I don't know what you want from me. I don't know what you want from me. Oh my God. Like, come on, fucking figure it out. So today I saw the collaboration highlights and I have to suck on the Pazushi. Pazushi's the best. I would be impressed with screaming 10,800 words. Yeah, Pazushi is my pride and joy. Pazushi is the love of my life. Oh yeah, that video, Discount Ostrich video is so good. Thank you for including my love of Pazushi. Pazushi! I don't know. Should we put some little atmospheric music behind this? Hold on. I don't know. Here, I'll very quietly play some like. It won't be in the VOD. I mean, it wouldn't get my VOD claimed anyways because we're just gonna play like background music, but play really sad music. But all right. How long is this? 4 hours and 2 minutes. Okay, this playlist will be fine. This will be a fine playlist. All right. Are you all ready? Please don't scream for 10,000 words. I'll do my best. I'll do my best. If anyone ruins the joke, I will personally come to your place and strangle you. To make it really interesting, if you make a mistake saying the joke, you have to start over. Holy shit. Imagine being like all almost at the end and then you fuck up. All right, you ready? This is the longest joke in the world. So, there's a man crawling through the desert. He's decided to try his SUV in a little bit of cross-country travel. Had great fun zooming over the badlands and through the sand, got lost, hit a big rock, and then he couldn't get it started again. There were no cell phone towers anywhere near, so his cell phone was useless. He had no family, his parents had died a few years before in an auto accident, and his few friends had no idea he was out here. He stayed with the car for a day or so, but his one bottle of water ran out, and he was getting thirsty. He thought maybe he knew the direction back now that he'd paid attention to the sun and thought he'd figured out which way was north, so he decided to start walking. He figured he only had to go about 30 miles or so and he'd be back to the small town he'd gotten gas in last. He thinks about walking at night to avoid the heat and sun, but based upon how dark it actually was the night before, he'd had no flashlight. He's afraid that he'll break a leg or step on a rattlesnake. So he puts on some sunblock and puts the rest of So he puts on some sunblock. I'll have to move that. And puts the rest of it in his pocket for reapplication later. He brings an umbrella he had in the back of his SUV with him to give him a little shade. Pours the windshield wiper fluid into his water bottle in case he gets that desperate. Brings his pocket knife in case he finds a cactus that looks like it might have water in it. And he heads out into the direction that he thinks is right. He walks for the entire day. By the end of the day, he's really thirsty. He's been sweating all day and his lips are starting to crack. He's reapplied the sunblock twice and tried to stay under the umbrella, but he still feels sunburned. The windshield wiper fluid sloshing in the bottle in his pocket is really getting tempting now. He knows that it's mainly water and some ethanol and coloring, but he also knows that they add some kind of poison to keep people from drinking it. He wonders what the poison is and whether the poison would be worse than dying of thirst. He pushes on, trying to get to that small town before dark. By the end of the day, he starts to get worried. He figures he's been walking at least 3 miles an hour according to his watch for over 10 hours. That means if his estimate was right, that he should be close to the town, but he doesn't recognize any of this. He had to cross a dry creek bed a mile or two back, and he doesn't remember coming through it on the SUV. He figures that maybe once he got his direction off just a little and that the dry creek bed was one off to the side of the path, he tells himself that he's close and that after dark he'll start seeing the town lights over one of these hills and, well, that'll be all that he needs. As it gets dim enough that he starts stumbling over small rocks and things, he finds a spot and sits down and waits for full dark and the town lights. Full dark comes before he knows it. He must have dozed off. He stands back up and turns all the way around and sees nothing but stars. He wakes up the next morning feeling absolutely lousy. His eyes are gummy and his mouth and nose feel like they're full of sand. He's so thirsty that he can't even swallow. He barely got any sleep because it was so cold. He'd forgotten how cold it got at night in the desert and hadn't noticed it the night before because he'd been in his car. He knows the rules of threes. 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, then you die. Well, some people can make it a little longer in the best situations, but the desert heat and having to walk and sweat isn't the best situation to be without water. He figures unless he finds water, this is his last day. He rinses his mouth out with a little of the windshield wiper fluid. He waits a while after spitting that little bit out to see if his mouth goes numb, or he feels dizzy, or something. Has his mouth gone numb? Is it just in his mind? He's not sure. He'll go a little further, and if he still doesn't find water, he'll try drinking some of the fluid. Then he has to face his next harder question. Which way does he go from here? Does he keep walking in the same way he was yesterday, assuming that he still knows which way that is? Or does he try a new direction? He has no idea what to do. Looking at the hills and dunes around him, he thinks he knows the direction he was heading before. Just going by a feeling, he points himself somewhat to the left of that and starts walking. As he walks, the day it starts heating up. The desert, too cold just a couple of hours before, soon becomes an oven again. He sweats a little at first, and then stops. He starts to get a little worried at that. When you stop sweating, he knows that means you're in trouble, usually right before a heat stroke. He decides that it's time to try the windshield wiper fluid. He can't wait any longer. If he passes out, he's dead. He stops in the shade of a large rock, takes the bottle out, opens it, and takes a mouthful. He slowly swallows it, making it last as long as he can. It feels so good in his dry and cracked throat that he doesn't even care about the nasty taste. He takes another mouthful and makes it last too. Slowly, he drinks half the bottle. He figures that since he's drinking it, he might as well drink enough to make some difference and keep himself from passing out. Wah, 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 wah! He's quit worrying about the denaturing of the wiper fluid. If it kills him, it kills him. If he didn't drink it, he'd die anyway. Besides, he's pretty sure that whatever substance they denature, is that right? Thank you for the follow. Denature. The fluid with is just designed to make you sick. Their way of keeping winos from buying cheap wiper fluid for the ethanol content. He can handle throwing up if it comes to that. He walks. He walks in the hot, dry, windless desert. Sand, rocks, hills, dunes, the occasional scrawny cactus or dried bush. No sign of water. Sometimes he'll see a little movement in one side or the other, but whatever moved is usually gone before he can focus his eyes on it. Probably birds, lizards, or mice, maybe snakes, though they usually move more at night. He's careful to stay away from the movements. After a while, he begins to stagger. He's not sure if it's fatigue, heat stroke finally catching him, or maybe he was wrong and the denaturing of the wiper fluid was worse than he thought. He tries to steady himself and keep going. After more walking, he comes to a large stretch of sand. This is good. He knows he passed over a stretch of sand in the SUV. He remembers doing donuts in it, or at least he thinks he remembers it. He's getting woozy enough and tired enough that he's not sure what he remembers anymore or if he's hallucinating. But he thinks he remembers it. So he heads off into it, trying to get to the other side, hoping that it gets him closer to the town. He was heading for a town, wasn't he? Well, he thinks he was. He isn't sure anymore. He's not even sure how long he's been walking anymore. Is it still morning? Or has it moved into afternoon and the sun is going down again? It must be afternoon. It seems like it's been too long since he started out. He walks through the sand. After a while, he comes to a big dune in the sand. This is bad. He doesn't remember any dunes when driving over the sand in his SUV. Or at least he doesn't think he remembers any. This is bad. But he has no other direction to go. It's too late to turn back now. He figures that he'll get to the top of the dune and see if he can see anything from there to help him find the town. He keeps going up the dune. Halfway up, he slips in the bad footing of the sand for the second or third time and falls to his knees. He doesn't feel like getting back up. He'll just fall down again. So he keeps going up the dune on his hands and his knees. While crawling, if his throat weren't so dry, he'd laugh. He's finally gotten into the hackneyed image of a man lost in the desert, crawling through the sand on his hands and knees. It would be the perfect image, he imagines, if only his clothes were more ragged. The people crawling through the desert in the cartoons always had ragged clothes. But his have lasted without any rips so far. Somebody will probably find his desiccated corpse half buried in the sand years from now, and his clothes will still be in fine shape. Shake out that sand in a good wash, and they'd be wearable again. He wishes his throat were wet enough to laugh. He coughs a little instead. It hurts. He finally makes it to the top of the sand dune. Now that he's at the top, he struggles a little, but manages to stand up and look around. All he sees is sand. Sand and more sand. Behind him, about a mile away, he thinks he sees the rocky ground he left to head into the sand. Ahead of him, more dunes, more sand. This isn't where he drove his SUV. This is hell, or close enough. Again, he doesn't know what to do. He decides to drink the rest of the wiper fluid while figuring it out. He takes out the bottle and is removing the cap when he glances to the side and sees something. Something in the sand. At the bottom of the dune. Off to the side. He sees something strange. I can't keep up reading. I'll read you a paragraph. The next paragraph I'll read in the voice. It's a flat area in the sand. He stops, takes the cap off the bottle, and tries to look closer. The area seems to be circular, and it's dark. Darker than the sand, and there seems to be something in the middle of it, but he can't tell what it is. He looks as hard as he can, and still can't tell from here. He's going to have to go down there and look. He puts the bottle back in his pocket and starts to stumble down the dune. After a few seconds, he realizes that he's in trouble. He's not going to be able to keep his balance. After a couple more sliding, tottering steps, he falls and starts to roll down the dune. The sand, it's so hot when his body hits it that for a minute, he thinks he's caught fire on the way down. Like a movie car wreck flashing into flames as it goes over the cliff before it even hits the ground. He closes his eyes and mouth, covers his face with his hands, and waits to stop rolling. He stops at the bottom of the dune. After a minute or two, he finds enough energy to try to sit up and get the sand out of his face and clothes. When he clears his eyes enough, he looks around to make sure that the dark spot in the sand is still there, and he hadn't just imagined it. So seeing the large, flat, dark spot on the sand is still there, he begins to crawl towards it. He'd get up and walk towards it, but it doesn't seem to have the energy to get up and walk right now. He must be in the final stages of dehydration, he figures as he crawls. If this place in the sand doesn't have water, he'll likely never make it anywhere else. This is his last chance. He gets closer and closer, but still can't see what's in the middle of the dark area. His eyes won't quite focus anymore for some reason, and lifting his head up to look takes so much effort that he just gives up trying. He just keeps crawling. Finally, he reaches the area he'd seen from the dune. It takes him a minute of crawling on before he realizes that he's no longer on sand. He's now crawling on some kind of dark stone. Stone with some kind of marking on it, a pattern cut into the stone. He's too tired to stand up and see what the pattern is, so he just keeps crawling. He crawls towards the center, where his blurry eyes still see something in the middle of the dark stone area. His mind, detached in a strange way, notes that either his hands and knees are so burnt by the sand that they no longer feel pain, or that this dark stone, in the middle of a burning desert, with a pounding, punishing sun overhead, doesn't seem to be hot. It almost feels cool. He considers lying down on the nice, cool surface. Cool, dark stone. Not a good sign. He must be hallucinating this. He's probably in the middle of a patch of sand, already lying face down and dying and just imagining this whole thing, a desert mirage. Soon the beautiful women carrying pitchers of water will come up and start giving him a drink. Then he'll know he's gone. He decides against laying down on the cool stone. If he's going to die here in the middle of this hallucination, he at least wants to see what's in the center before he goes. He keeps crawling. It's the third time that he hears the voice before he realizes what he's hearing. He would swear that someone just said, "Greetings, traveler. You do not look well. Do you hear me?" He stops crawling. He tries to look up from where he is on his hands and knees, but it's too much effort to lift his head. So he tries something different. He leans back and tries to sit up on the stone. After a few seconds, he catches his balance, avoids falling on his face, sits up and tries to focus his eyes. Blurry. He rubs his eyes with the back of his hands and tries again. Better this time. Yep, he can see he's sitting in the middle of a large, flat, dark expanse of stone. Directly next to him, about 3 feet away, is a white post or pole about 2 inches in diameter and sticking up about 4 or 5 feet out of the stone at an angle. And wrapped around this white rod, tail with rattle on it, hovering and seeming to be ready to start rattling, is what must be a 15-foot-long desert diamond-backed rattlesnake, looking directly at him. He stares at the snake in shock. He doesn't have the energy to get up and run away. He doesn't even have the energy to crawl away. This is it, his final resting place. No matter what happens, he's not going to be able to move from the spot. Well, at least dying from a bite from this monster should be quicker than dying of thirst. He'll face his end like a man. He struggles to sit up a little straighter. The snake keeps watching him. He lifts one hand and waves it in the snake's direction, feebly. The snake watches the hand for a moment, then goes back to watching the man, looking into his eyes. Huh. Maybe the snake had no interest in biting him. It hadn't rattled yet. That was a good sign. Maybe he wasn't going to die of snake bite after all. He then remembers that he'd looked up when he reached the center here, because he thought he'd heard a voice. He was still very woozy. He was likely to pass out soon. The sun still beat down on him even though he was now on cool stone. He still didn't have anything to drink, but maybe he had actually heard a voice. The stone didn't look natural, nor did that white post sticking out of the stone. Someone had to have built this. Maybe they were still nearby. Maybe that was who talked to him. Maybe the snake was even their pet, and that's why it wasn't even biting. Hork isn't on this scene. I'm so sorry. Rest in peace, Hork. He tries to clear his throat to say hello, but his throat is too dry. All that comes out is a coughing or wheezing sound. There's no way he's going to be able to talk without something to drink. He feels his pocket, and the bottle with the wiper fluid is still there. He shakily pulls the bottle out, almost losing his balance and falling on his back in the process. This isn't good. He doesn't have much time left, and by his reckoning, before he passes out, there's not time. He gets the lid off the bottle, manages to get the bottle to his lips, and pours some of the fluid into his mouth. He sloshes it around and then swallows it. He coughs a little. His throat feels better. Maybe he can talk now. He tries again, ignoring the snake. He turns to look around him, hoping to spot the owner of this place, and croaks out, "Hello? Is there anyone here?" He hears from his side, "Greetings. What is it that you want?" He turns his head back towards the snake. That's where the sound had seemed to come from. The only thing he can think of is that there must be a speaker hidden under the snake, or maybe built into that post. He decides to try asking for help. "Please," he croaks again, suddenly feeling dizzy. "I'd love to not be thirsty anymore. I've been a long time without water. Can you help me?" Looking in the direction of the snake, hoping to see where the voice was coming from this time, he's shocked to see that the snake rears back, opens its mouth, and speaks. He hears it say as the dizziness overtakes him and he falls forward, face first on the stone. "Very well, coming up." A piercing pain shoots through his shoulder. Suddenly he is awake. He sits up, grabs his shoulder, wincing at the throbbing pain. He's momentarily disoriented as he looks around, and then he remembers the crawl across the sand, the dark area of stone, the snake. He sees the snake still wrapped around the tilted white post, still looking at him. He reaches up and feels his shoulder where it hurts. It feels slightly wet. He pulls his fingers away and looks at them. Blood. He feels his shoulder again. His shirt has what feels like 2 holes in it, 2 puncture holes. They match up with the 2 aching spots of pain on his shoulder. He had been bitten by the snake. "It'll feel better in a minute." He looks up. It's the snake talking. He hadn't dreamed it. Suddenly he notices he's not dizzy anymore, and more importantly, he's not thirsty anymore. At all. "Have I died? Is this the afterlife? Why are you biting me in the afterlife?" Sorry about that, but I had to bite you," the snake says. "That's the way I work. It all comes through the bite. Think of it as natural medicine." "You bit me to help me? Why aren't I thirsty anymore? Did you give me a drink before you bit me? How did I drink enough while unconscious to not be thirsty anymore? I haven't had a drink for over 2 days. Well, except for the windshield wiper fluid. Hold on. How in the world does a snake talk? Are you real? Are you like a Disney animation?" "No," says the snake. "I'm real. As real as you or anyone is anyway. I didn't give you a drink. I bit you. That's how it works. It's what I do. I bite. I don't have hands to give you a drink, even if I had water just sitting around here." The man sat stunned for a minute. Here he was, sitting in the middle of the desert on some strange stone that should be hot but wasn't, talking to a snake that could talk back and had just bitten him, and he felt better. Not great. He was still starving and exhausted, but much better. He was no longer thirsty. He had started to sweat again, but only slightly. He felt hot in the sun, but it was starting to get lower in the sky, and the cool stone beneath him was a relief. He could now notice that he was no longer dying of thirst. "I might suggest that we take care of that methanol you have in your system with the next request," continued the snake. I can guess why you drank it, but I'm not sure how much you drank or how much methanol was left in the wiper fluid. That stuff is nasty. It'll make you go blind in a day or two if you drank enough of it. Uh, next request? Said the man. He put his hand back on his hurting shoulder and backed away from the snake a little. That's the way it works, if you like, that is, explained the snake. You get 3 requests. Call them wishes, if you wish. The snake grinned at his own joke, and the man drew back a little further from the show of fangs. But there are rules, the snake continued. The first request is free. The second requires an agreement of secrecy. The third requires the binding of responsibility. The snake looks at the man seriously. By the way, the snake says suddenly, my name is Nathan. Old Nathan, Samuel used to call me. He gave me that name. Before that, most of the bound used to just call me Snake. But that got old, and Samuel wouldn't stand for it. He said that anything that could talk needed a name. He was big into names. You can call me Nate if you wish. Again, the snake grinned. Sorry if I don't offer to shake, but I think you can understand. My shake sounds somewhat threatening. The snake gave his little rattle a shake. My name is Jack, said the man, trying to absorb all of this. Jack Sampson. Can I ask you a question? Jack says suddenly. What happened to that poison in your bite? Why am I not dying now? How did you do that? What do you mean by that's how you work? That's more than one question, grins Nate, but I'll still try to answer all of them. First, yes, you can ask me a question. The snake's grin gets wider. Second, the poison is in you. It changed you. You now no longer need to drink. That's what you asked for, or, well, technically you asked to not be thirsty anymore, but anymore is such a vague term. I decided to make it permanent. Now, as long as you live, you shouldn't need to drink much at all. Your body will conserve water very efficiently. You should be able to get enough just from the food you eat, much like a creature of the desert. You've been changed. For the third question, Nate continues, you are still dying. Besides the effects of that methanol in your system, you're a man, and men are mortal. In your current state, I give you no more than about 50 years. Assuming you get out of this desert alive, that is. Nate seemed vastly amused at his own humor and continued to wide grin. As for the fourth question, Nate said, looking more serious as far as Jack could tell, as Jack was just now working on his ability to read talking snake emotions from snake facial features, first you have to agree to make a second request and become bound by the secrecy, or I can't tell you. Wait, joked Jack. Isn't this where you say you could tell me but you'd have to kill me? I thought that was implied. Nate continued to look serious. Yeah. Jack leaned back a little as he remembered again that he was talking to a 15-foot poisonous reptile with a reputation for having a nasty temper. So, what's this bound by secrecy stuff? And can you really stop the effects of the methanol? Jack thought for a second. And what do you mean methanol anyways? I thought that they used ethanol in wiper fluid and they just denature it. They may. I don't really know, said Nate. I haven't gotten out in a while. Maybe they do. All I know is that I smell methanol on your breath and on that bottle in your pocket. And the blue color of the liquid when you pulled it out to drink let me guess that it was wiper fluid. I assume they still color wiper fluid blue. Yeah, they do, said Jack. I figured, replied Nate. As for being bound by secrecy, with the fulfillment of your next request, you'll be bound to say nothing about me, this place, or any of the information I will tell you after that. When you decide to go back to your kind, well, you won't be allowed to talk about me, write about me, use sign language, charades, or even act in a way that will lead someone to guess correctly about me. You'll be bound to secrecy. Of course, I'll also ask you to promise not to give me away, as I'm guessing that you're a man of your word. You'll never test the binding anyway, so you won't notice, Nate said the last part with utter confidence. Jack, who always prided himself on being a man of his word, felt a little nervous at this. Hey, Nate, who are you? How did you know that? Are you omniscient or something? Well, Jack, said Nate sadly, I can't tell you that unless you make a second request. Nate looked away for a minute and then looked back. Well, okay, said Jack. What is this about a second request? What can I ask for? Are you allowed to tell me that? Sure, said Nate, brightening. You're allowed to ask for changes to yourself. They're like wishes, but they can only affect you. Oh, and before you ask, I can't give you immortality or omniscience or omnipresence for that matter, though I might be able to make you gaseous and yet remain alive, and then you could spread through the atmosphere and sort of be omnipresent, but what good would that be? You still wouldn't be omniscient, and thus still could only focus on one thing at a time. Not very useful, at least in my opinion. Nate stopped when he realized that Jack was staring at him. Well, anyways, continued Nate, I'd probably suggest giving you permanent good health. It would negate the methanol now in your system. You'd be immune to most poisons and diseases, and you'd tend to live a very long time, barring accident, of course. And you'll even have a tendency to recover from accidents well. It always seemed like a good choice for a request to me. Cure the methanol poisoning? Huh? Said Jack. And keep me healthy for a long time? It doesn't sound bad, and it has to be a request about a change to me. I can't ask to be rich, right? Because that's not really a change to me. Right, nodded Nate. Could I ask to be a genius and permanently healthy? Jack asked, hopefully. That takes 2 requests, Jack. Yeah, I figured so, said Jack, but I could ask to be a genius. I could become the smartest scientist in the world or the best athlete. Well, I could make you very smart, admitted Nate. But that wouldn't necessarily make you the best scientist in the world, or I could make you very athletic, but it wouldn't necessarily make you the best athlete either. You heard the saying that 99% of genius is hard work. Well, there's some truth to that. I can give you the talent, but I can't make you work hard. It all depends on what you decide to do with it. Said Jack. Okay, I think I understand. And I get a 3rd request after this one. Maybe, said Nate. It depends on what you decide then. There are more rules for the 3rd request that I can only tell you after the 2nd request. You know how it goes. Nate looked like he'd shrug if he had shoulders. Maybe, said, well, I'd rather not be blind in a day or 2. And permanent health doesn't sound bad, and consider that my 2nd request, officially. Do I need to sign in blood or something? No, said Nate. Just hold out your hand or heel. Nate grinned. Or whatever part you'd like me to bite. I have to bite you again. Like I said, that's how this works. The poison, you know, Nate said apologetically. Jack winced a little and felt his shoulder where the last bite was. Hey, it didn't hurt anymore, just like Nate had said. That made Jack feel better about the biting business, but still, standing still while 15-foot snake sunk its fangs into you? Jack stood up, ignoring how good it felt to be able to stand again, and the hunger started to gnaw at his stomach. Jack tried to decide where he wanted to get bitten despite knowing that it wouldn't hurt for long. Jack knew that this wasn't going to be easy. Hey, Jack, Nate suddenly said, looking past Jack towards the dunes behind him. Is that someone else coming up over there? Jack spun around and looked. Who else could be out here in the middle of nowhere? And did they bring food? Wait, there was nobody out there. What was Nate? Jack let out a bellow as he felt 2 fangs sink into his rear end through his jeans. Jack sat down carefully, favoring his more tender buttocks. I would have decided eventually, Nate. I was just thinking about it. You didn't have to hoodwink me like that. I've been doing this a long time, Jack, said Nate confidently. You humans have a hard time sitting still and letting a snake bite you, especially one of my size. And besides, admit it, it's only been a couple of minutes and it already doesn't hurt anymore, does it? That's because of the health benefit with this one. I told you that you'd heal quickly now. Yeah, well, still, said Jack. It's the principle of the thing, and nobody likes being bitten on the butt. Couldn't you have gotten my calf or something instead? More meat in the typical human butt, replied Nate. And less chance you'd accidentally kick me or move at the last second. Yeah, right. So tell me all these wonderful secrets that I now qualify to hear, answered Jack. Okay, said Nate. Do you want to ask questions first, or do you want me to just start talking? Just talk, said Jack. I'll sit here and try to not think about food. We could go try to rustle up some food for you first, if you like, answered Nate. Hey, you didn't tell me you had food around here, Nate. Jack jumped up. What do we have? Am I in walking distance to town, or can you magically whip up food along with your other powers? Jack was almost shouting with excitement. His stomach had been growling for hours. I was thinking more like I could flush something out of its hole and bite it for you, and that you could skin it and eat it, assuming you have a knife, that is, replied Nate with the grin that Jack was starting to get used to. Said Jack, sitting back down. I think I'll pass. I can last a little longer before I get desperate enough to eat a desert rat or whatever else it is you find out here, and there's nothing to burn. I'd have to eat it raw. No thanks, just keep talking. Okay, replied Nate, still grinning. But I better hurry before you start looking at me as food. Nate reared back a little, looked around for a second, and then continued. You, Jack, are sitting in the middle of the Garden of Eden. Jack looked around at the sand and dunes and then looked back at Nate skeptically. Well, that's the best I can figure it anyway, Jack, said Nate. Stand up. Look at the symbol on the rock here. Nate gestured around the dark stone they were both sitting on with his nose. Jack stood up and looked. Carved into the stone is a bas relief? In a bas relief? BAS-relief was a representation of a large tree. The angled pole that Nate was wrapped around was coming out of the trunk of the tree, right below where the main branches left the trunk to reach out across the stone. It was very well done. It looked more like a tree had been reduced to almost 2 dimensions and embedded in the stone than it did a carving. Jack walked around and looked at the detail in the fading light of the setting sun. He wished he had looked at it while the sun was still higher in the sky. Wait, the sun was setting. That meant he was going to have to spend another night out here. Jack looked out across the desert for a little bit and then came back and stood next to Nate. In all the excitement, I almost forgot, Nate, said Jack. Which way is it back to town and how far? I'm eventually going to have to head back. I'm not sure I'll be able to survive by eating raw desert critters for long, and even if I can, I'm not sure I want to. It's about 30 miles that way, Nate pointed with the rattle on his tail this time. As far as Jack could tell, it was a direction at right angles to the way he had been going where he was crawling here. But that's 30 miles by the way the crow flies. It's about 40 by the way a man walks. You should be able to do it in about a half day with your improved endurance if you head out early tomorrow, Jack. Jack looked out the way the snake had pointed for a few seconds more and then sat back down. It was getting dark. Not much he could do about heading out right now, and besides, Nate was just about to get to the interesting stuff. Garden of Eden? As best as you can figure it? Oh, yeah, as best as I and Samuel could figure it anyway, said Nate. They figured that the story just got a little mixed up, snake in a tree offering temptations, making bargains, that kind of stuff, but he could never quite figure out how the Hebrews figured out about the spot from across the ocean. He worried about that for a while. Garden of Eden, said Jack. How long have you been here, Nate? No idea, really, replied Nate. A long time. It never occurred to me to count the years until recently, and by then, well, it was too late. But I do remember when this whole place was green, so I figure it's been thousands of years at least. So are you the snake that tempted Eve? Said Jack. Beats me, said Nate. Maybe I can't remember it one of the first of your kind I talked to was female or not, and I never got a name, but it could have been. And I suppose she could have considered my offer to grant requests of temptation, though I've rarely had refusals. Well, how did you get here then, and why is that white pole stuck out of the stone there? Asked Jack. Dad left me here. Or I assumed it was my dad. It was another snake, much bigger than I was back then. I remember talking to him, but I don't remember if it was in a language or just kind of an understanding of what he wanted. But one day he brought me to the stone, told me about it, and asked me to do something for him. I talked it over with him for a while and then agreed. I've been here ever since. What is this place? Said Jack, and what did he ask you to do? Well, you see this pole here sticking out of the stone? Nate loosened his coils around the tilted white pole and showed Jack where it descended into the stone. The pole was tilted at about a 45-degree angle and seemed to enter the stone at 18-inch slot cut into the stone. Jack leaned over and looked. The slot was dark, and the pole went down as far into it as he could see in the dim light. Jack reached out to touch the pole, but Nate was suddenly there in the way. You can't touch that yet, Jack, said Nate. Why not? Asked Jack. I haven't explained it to you yet, replied Nate. Well, it kind of looks like a lever or something, said Jack. You'd push it that way and it would move in the slot. Yeah, that's what it is, replied Nate. What does it do? Asked Jack. End the world? Oh, no, said Nate. Nothing that drastic. It just ends humanity. I call it the lever of doom. For the last few words, Nate had used a deeper, ringing voice. Sorry. I call it the lever of doom. He tried to look serious for a few seconds and then gave up and grinned. Jack was initially startled by Nate's pronouncement, but when Nate grinned, Jack laughed. You almost had me fooled for a second there. What does it really do? Oh, it really ends humanity, like I said, smirked Nate. I just thought the voice I used was funny. Didn't you? Nate continued to grin. A lever to end humanity? Asked Jack. What in the world is that for? Why would anyone need to end humanity? Well, replied Nate, I get the idea that maybe humanity was an experiment, or maybe the big guy just thought that if humanity started to get really bad, there should be a way to end it. I'm not really sure. All I know is that there's rules, and I guess that Samuel and I had about the bit. And the guesses that Samuel and I had about why it's here, I didn't think to ask back when I started. Rules? What rules? Asked Jack. The rules are that I can't tell anybody about it or let them touch it unless they agree to be bound to secrecy by a bite, and that only one human can be bounded that way at a time. That's it, explained Nate. Jack looked somewhat shocked. You mean that I could pull the lever now? You'd let me end humanity? Yep, replied Nate, if you wanted to. Nate looked carefully at Jack. Do you want to, Jack? No, said Jack, stepping back a little further from the lever. Why in the world would anybody want to end humanity? It'd take a psychotic person to want that, or worse, a suicidal psychotic person, because it would kill them too, wouldn't it? Yep, replied Nate, being as he'd be human too. Has anyone ever seriously considered it? Are those any of those bounds of secrecy? Well, of course. I think they've all seriously considered it at one time or another. Being given that kind of responsibility makes you sit down and think, or, well, so I'm told. Samuel considered it several times. He'd often get disgusted with humanity, come out here and just hold the lever for a while. But he never pulled it, or, well, you wouldn't be here. Nate grinned some more. Jack sat down and, well, back from the lever. He looked thoughtful and puzzled at the same time, and after a bit he said, So this makes me the judge of humanity. I get to decide whether they keep going or just end? Me? That seems to be it, agreed Nate. What kind of criteria do I use to decide? Said Jack. How do I make this decision? Am I supposed to decide if they're good or too many of them are bad or that they're going the wrong way? Is there a set of rules for that? Nope, replied Nate. You pretty much just have to decide on your own. It's up to you, however you want to decide it. I guess that you're just supposed to know. But what if I get mad at someone? Or some girl dumps me and I feel horrible. Couldn't I make a mistake? How do you know that I won't screw up? Protested Jack. Nate gave his best kind of snake-like shrug again. You don't. You just have to try your best, Jack. Jack sat there for a while, staring off into the desert that was rapidly getting dark, chewing on a fingernail. Suddenly, Jack turned around and looked at the snake. Nate, was Samuel the one bound to this before me? Yep, replied Nate. He was a good guy. Talked to me a lot, taught me to read, and brought me books. I think I still have a good pile of them buried in the sand around here somewhere. I still miss him. He died a few months ago. That sounds like a good guy, agreed Jack. How did he handle this when you first told him? What did he do? Well, said Nate, he sat down for a while, thought about it for a bit, and then asked me some questions, much like you're doing. What did he ask you, if you're allowed to tell me? Asked Jack. He asked me about the third request, replied Nate. Ah, it was Jack's turn to grin. And what did you tell him? I told him the rules for the third request. That to get the third request, you have to agree to this whole thing. Fuck! Scared the shit out of me! That if it ever comes to the point that you really think that humanity should be ended, that you'll come here and end it. You won't avoid it and you won't wimp out. Nate looked serious again. And you'll be bound to do it too, Jack. Oh. Jack looked back out into the darkness for a while. Nate watched him, waiting. Nate, continued Jack, quietly, eventually. What did Samuel ask for with his third request? Nate sounded like he was grinning again as he replied, also quietly. Wisdom, Jack. He asked for wisdom. As much as I could give him. Okay, said Jack, suddenly standing up and facing away from Nate. Give it to me. Nate looked at Jack's backside. Give you what, Jack? Give me that wisdom, the same stuff that Samuel asked for. If it helped him, maybe it'll help me. Jack turned his head to look back over his shoulder at Nate. It did help him, right? Well, he said it did, replied Nate. But he seemed a little quieter afterwards, like he had a lot to think about. Well, yeah, I can see that, said Jack. So, give it to me. Jack turned to face away from Nate again, bent over slightly and tensed up. Nate watched Jack tense up with a little exasperation. If he bit Jack now, Jack would likely jump out of his skin and maybe hurt them both. You remember that you need to be bound to destroy humanity if it ever looks like it needs to, right, Jack? Asked Nate, shifting position. Yeah, I got that, replied Jack, eyes squeezed tightly shut and body tense, not noticing the change in the direction of Nate's voice. And, continued Nate from his new position, do you remember that you'll turn bright purple and grow big horns and extra eyes? Yeah. Hey, wait a minute, said Jack, opening his eyes, straightening up and turning around. Purple? He didn't see Nate there. With the moonlight, Jack could see that the lever extended up from its slot in the rock without the snake wrapped around it. Jack heard from behind him Nate's, "Just kidding," right before he felt the now familiar piercing pain, this time in the other buttocks. Jack sat on the edge of the dark stone in rapidly cooling air, his feet extending out into the sand. He stared out into the darkness, listening to the wind stir the sand, occasionally rubbing his butt where he had been recently bitten. Nate had left for a little while, had come back with a desert rodent-shaped bulge somewhere in his middle, and was now wrapped back around the lever, his tongue flicking out into the desert's night air, the only sign that he was still awake. Occasionally, Jack, with his toes absent-mindedly digging in the sand when he thought, would ask Nate a question about turning around, or without turning around, rather. Nate, do accidents count? Nate lifted his head a little bit. What do you mean, Jack? Jack tilted his head back like he was looking at the stars. You know, accidents. If I accidentally fall on the lever without meaning to, does that still wipe out humanity? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does, Jack. I suggest you be careful about that if you start feeling wobbly, said Nate with some amusement. A little later. Does it have to be me that pulls the lever? Asked Jack. That's the rule, Jack. Nobody else can pull it, answered Nate. No, Jack shook his head. I meant, does it have to be by my hand? Could I pull the lever with a rope tied around it or push it with a stick or throw a rock? Yeah, those should work, replied Nate. But I'm not sure how complicated you could get. Samuel thought about trying to build some kind of remote control for it once, but gave it up. Everything he built would go by the next sunrise. If it was touching the stone or over it, it'd just be gone. I told him that it was in the past others had been bound to try to bury the lever so they wouldn't be tempted to pull it, but every time they did, the stones or sand or whatever would disappear. Wow, said Jack. Cool. Jack leaned back until only his elbows kept him off the stone, and he looked up into the sky. Nate, how long did Samuel live? One of his wishes was for health, too, right? Asked Jack. Yeah, replied Nate. It was. He lived 167 years, Jack. Wow, that's 167 years. That's almost 140 more years if I live as long as him. What did he die of? He died of getting tired of living, Jack, Nate said, sounding somewhat sad. Jack turned his head to look at Nate in the starlight. Nate looked back. Samuel knew he wasn't going to be able to stay in society. He figured that they'd eventually see him still alive and start questioning it, so he decided that he'd have to disappear after a while. He faked his death once, but changed his mind. He decided it was too early and he could stay for a little longer. He wasn't very fond of mankind, but he liked the attention. Most of the time, anyway. His daughter and then his wife dying almost did him in, though. He didn't stay in society much longer after that. He eventually came out here to spend time talking to me and thinking about pulling the lever. A few months ago, he told me he had enough. It was his time. And then he just died? Asked Jack. Nate shook his head a little. He made his fourth request, Jack. There's only one thing you can ask for the fourth request. The last bite. After a bit, Nate continued. He told me that he was tired, that it was his time. He reassured me that someone new would show up like they always had. Another pause. Nate finished. Samuel's body disappeared off the stone with the sunrise. Jack lay back down and looked at the sky, leaving Nate alone with his memories. It was a long time until Jack's breathing evened out into sleep. Jack woke with the sunrise the next morning. He was a little chilled with the morning desert air, but overall was feeling pretty good. Well, except that his stomach was grumbling and he wasn't willing to eat raw desert rat. So after getting directions to town from Nate, making sure he knew just how to get back, and reassuring Nate he'd be back soon, Jack started the long walk back to town. With his new health and Nate's good directions, he made it back easily. Jack caught a bus back to the city and showed up for work the next day, a little worse for the wear, with a story about getting lost in the desert and walking back out. And within a couple of days, Jack had talked a friend with a tow truck into going back out to the desert with him to fetch the SUV. They found it after a couple of hours of searching and towed it back without incident. Jack was careful to not even look in the direction of Nate's lever, though their path back didn't come within sight of it. Before the next weekend, Jack had gone to a couple of stores, including a bookstore, and had gotten his SUV back from the mechanic, with a warning to avoid any more joyriding in the desert. On Saturday, Jack headed back to see Nate. Jack parked a little way out of the small town near Nate, loaded up his new backpack with camping gear and things he was bringing for Nate, and then started walking. He figured that walking would leave the least trail, and he knew that while not many people camped in the desert, it wasn't unheard of and shouldn't really raise suspicions. Jack had brought more books for Nate. Recent books, magazines, newspapers, some things that would catch Nate up with what was happening in the world, others that were just good books to read. He spent the weekend with Nate and then headed out again, telling Nate that he'd be back again soon, but that he had things to do first. Over 4 months later, Jack was back to see Nate again. This time he brought a laptop with him, a specifically modified laptop. It had a solar recharger, special filters and seals to keep out the sand, a satellite link-up, and a special keyboard and joystick that Jack hoped that a 15-foot rattlesnake would be able to use, and it had been hacked to not give out its location to the satellite. After that, Jack could email Nate to keep in touch, but still visited him fairly regularly, at least once or twice a year. After the first year, Jack quit his job. For some reason, with the wisdom he'd been given and the knowledge that he could live for over 150 years, working in a 9-to-5 job for someone else didn't seem that worthwhile anymore. Jack went back to school. Eventually, Jack started writing. Perhaps because of the wisdom, perhaps because of the new perspective, he wrote well. People liked what he wrote, and he became well known for it. After a time, Jack bought an RV and started traveling around the country for book signings and readings. But he still remembered to drop by and visit Nate occasionally. On one of the visits, Nate seemed quieter than usual. Not that Nate had been a fountain of joy lately. Jack's best guess was that Nate was still missing Samuel, and though Jack had tried, he still hadn't been able to replace Samuel in Nate's eyes. Nate had been getting quieter each visit, but on this visit, Nate didn't even speak when Jack walked up to the lever. He nodded at Jack, and then went back to staring into the desert. Jack, respecting Nate's silence, sat down and waited. After a few minutes, Nate spoke. "Jack, I have someone to introduce you to." Jack looked surprised. "Someone to introduce me to?" Jack looked around and then looked back at Nate. "This something to do with the big guy?" "Thank you." No, replied Nate. "This is more personal. I want you to meet my son." Nate looked over at the nearest sand dune. "Sammy!" Jack watched as a 4-foot-long desert rattlesnake crawled from behind the dune and up the stone base of the lever. "Hi, Jack," said the new, much smaller snake. "Hey, Sammy," replied Jack. Jack looked at Nate. "Named after Samuel, I assume." Nate nodded. "Jack, I've got a favor to ask you. Could you show Sammy around for me?" Nate unwrapped himself from the lever and slithered over to the edge of the stone and looked across the sands. "When Samuel first told me about the world and brought me books and pictures, I wished that I could go see it. I wanted to see the great forests, the canyons, the cities, even the other deserts, to see if they felt and smelled the same. I want my son to have that chance to see the world before he becomes bound here like I've been. He's seen it in pictures, over the computer that you brought me, but I hear that it's not the same. That being there is different. I want him to have that. Think you can do that for me, Jack?" Jack nodded. This was obviously very important to Nate, so Jack didn't even joke about a talking rattlesnake out to see the world. "Yeah, I can do that for you, Nate. Is that all you need?" Jack could sense that there was something more. Nate looked at Sammy. Sammy looked back at Nate for a second and then said, I gotta go pack." "Nice to meet you." Sammy slithered back over to the dune and out of sight. Nate watched Sammy disappear and then looked back at Jack. "Jack, this is my first son. My first offspring through all the years. You don't even want to know what it took for me to find a mate." Nate grinned to himself. And anyway, I have a son for a reason. I'm tired. I'm ready for it to be over. I needed a replacement. Jack considered this for a moment. So you're ready to come see the world and you wanted to watch him to watch the lever while you were gone? Nate shook his head. No, Jack, you're a better guesser than that. You've already figured it out. I'm bound here. There's only one way for me to leave here, and I'm ready. It's my time to die. Jack looked more closely at Nate. He could tell Nate had thought about this probably for quite a while. Jack had trouble imagining what it would be like to be as old as Nate, but Jack could already tell that in another 100 or 200 years, he might be getting tired of life himself. Jack could understand Samuel's decision, and now Nate's. So all Jack said was, "What do you want me to do?" Nate nodded. Thanks, Jack. I only want 2 things. 1, show Sammy around the world. Let him get his fill of it until he's ready to come back here and take over. And 2, give me the 4th request. I can't just decide to die, not any more than you can. I won't even die of old age like you will eventually, even though it'll be a long time from now. I need to be killed. Once Sammy is back here ready to take over, I'll be able to die, and I need you to kill me. I've even thought about how poisons and other drugs, they won't work on me. And I've seen pictures of snakes that were shot. Some of them live for days, so that's out too. So I want you to bring back a sword. Nate turned away to look back at the dune that Sammy had gone behind. I'd say an axe, but that's somewhat undignified. Putting my head on the ground or a chopping block like that? No, I like a sword. A time-honored way of going out, a dignified way to die, and most importantly, it should work. Even on me. You willing to do that for me, Jack? Nate turned back to look at Jack. Yeah, Nate, replied Jack. I think I can handle that. Nate nodded. Good. He turned back to the dune and shouted, Sammy, Jack's about ready to leave. Then quietly, thanks, Jack. Jack didn't have anything to say to that, so he waited for Sammy to make it back to the lever, nodded to him, nodded a final time to Nate, and then headed into the desert with Sammy following. Over the next several years, Sammy and Jack kept in touch with Nate through emails as they went about their adventures. They made a goal of visiting every country in the world and did a respectable job of it. Sammy had a natural gift for languages, as Jack expected he would, and even ended up acting as a translator for Jack in a few of the countries. Jack managed to keep a talking rattlesnake hidden, even so, and by the time they were nearing the end of the tour of the countries, Sammy had only been spotted a few times. While there were several people that had seen enough to startle them greatly, nobody had evidence to prove anything. And while a few wild rumors and stories followed Jack and Sammy around, nothing ever hit the newspapers or the public in general. When they finished the tour of the countries, Jack suggested that they try some undersea diving. They did. And spelunking. They did that too. Sammy finally drew the line at visiting Antarctica. He'd come to realize that Jack was stalling. After talking to his dad about it over email, he figured out that Jack probably didn't want to have to kill Nate. Nate told Sammy that humans could be squeamish about killing friends and acquaintances. So Sammy eventually put his tail down, as he didn't have a foot, and told Jack that it was time. He was ready to go back and take up his duties from his dad. Jack delayed it a little more by insisting that they go back to Japan and buy an appropriate sword. He even stretched it out a little more by getting new lessons on how to use the sword, but eventually he'd learned as much as he was going to without deciding and dedicating his life to it. And he was definitely competent enough to take the head off of a snake. It was time to head back and see Nate. When they got back to the U.S., hold on one second. When they got back to the U.S., Jack got the old RV out of storage where he and Sammy had left it after their tour of the 50 states. He loaded up Sammy and the sword, and they headed for the desert. When they got to the small town that Jake had been trying to... Jake? His name is now Jake, apparently. That Jack had been trying to find all those years when he'd met Nate, Jack was in a funk. He didn't really feel like walking all the way out there. Not only that, but he'd forgotten to figure the travel time correctly, and it was late afternoon. They'd either have to spend the night in town and walk out tomorrow, or walk in the dark. As Jack was afraid that if he waited one more night he might lose his resolve, he decided to go ahead and drive the RV out there. It was only going to be this once, and Jack would go back and cover the tracks afterwards. They ought to be able to make it there, but by nightfall, if they drove, and then they could get it over with tonight. Jack told Sammy to email Nate that they were coming as he drove off at the side of the town of the road. They then pulled off the road and headed into the desert. Everything went well until they got to the sand dunes. Jack had been nursing the RV along the whole time over the rocks, through the creek beds. Revving the engine a few times, they almost got stuck. When they came to the dunes, Jack didn't really think about it. He just downshifted and headed up to the first one. But by the third dune, Jack started to regret that he decided to try driving on the sand. The RV was fishtailing and losing traction. Jack was having to work it up each dune slowly and was trying to keep from losing control each time they came over the top and slid down the other side. Sammy had come up to sit in the passenger seat, coiled up and laughing at Jack's driving. As they came up over the top of the fourth dune, the biggest one yet, Jack saw that this was the final dune. The sand, the stone, the lever, and somewhere Nate waited below. Jack put on the brakes, but he'd gone a little too far. The RV started slipping down the other side. Jack tried turning the wheel, but he didn't have enough traction. He pumped the brakes, no response. They started sliding down the hill faster and faster. Jack felt a shock go through him as he suddenly realized that they were headed for the lever. He looked down. The RV was directly on course for it. If Jack didn't do something, the RV would hit it. He was about to end humanity. Jack steered more frantically, trying to get traction. It still wasn't working. The dune was still too steep and the sand was too loose. In a split second, Jack realized that his only chance would be once he hit the stone around the lever. He should have traction on the stone. For just a second. He wouldn't have time to stop, but he should be able to steer away. Jack took a better grip on the steering wheel and tried to turn the RV just a little bit. Every little bit would help. He'd have time to turn just right. The RV got to the bottom of the dune, sliding at an amazing speed in the sand. Just before they reached the stone, Jack looked across to check that they were still headed for the lever. They were, but Jack noticed something else that he hadn't seen from the top of the dune. Nate wasn't wrapped around the lever. He was off to the side of the lever, but still on the stone waiting for them. The problem was he was waiting on the same side of the lever that Jack had picked to steer towards to avoid the lever. The RV was already starting to drift that way in its mad rush across the sand, and there was no way that Jack was going to be able to go around the lever to the other side. Jack had an instant of realization. He was either going to have to hit the lever or run over Nate. He glanced over at Sammy and saw that Sammy realized the same thing. Jack took a firmer grip on the steering wheel as the RV ran up the stone, shouting to Sammy as he pulled the steering wheel, "Better Nate the lever!" He ran over the snake. Oh, better Nate the lever! You got it. It's better Nate the lever. You're gonna better Nate the lever. Holy shit.
Oh, pledging our loyalty.
Thank you.
I like that.
It did take a lot less time than I thought it would. I think the one time that I told it and it took almost 3 hours, I was like, elaborating on things that weren't in the story. Anyways, that's the longest joke in the world. It's also one of my favorite jokes in the world.
Like it or not.
Thank you for the
You're
gift
here now.
subs. Oh, fuck. I didn't have anything else planned. I don't know what to do. Okay, I have a drink. Have a drink after all that? Yeah, you got it. Were the children... Was anything necessary?
Welcome
Now
to
the shortest
asylum,
joke?
Captain.
Me. Holy shit. I feel like I should have been taking notes. It's true, I am 6 feet tall. I just meant the word me is pretty short. I don't know what to do now. I don't know. I don't know. What do you want to do, chat? What, what do you want to do? Blah. Tell the forbidden joke, the aristocrats. And shitting and fucking and sucking. No, I will not tell the aristocrats. Watch funny clip videos on YouTube. Painting? I did move one of the ears on the picture that I was drawing the other day. I could also do the, let's see. Hold on. I'm going to do a completely different stream
Like
for the...
it or not.
Thank
You're here
you!
now.
For the no sleep reading stream and the, Am I the Asshole streams. I think I'll do completely different ones. Here you go, mate. Never be told again. DBD has a 2v8 event going on. Hold on. I mean, so here are our choices. We could play DBD. We could play World of Warcraft. We could, I could play some, I don't know. I could play DBD. Give me a second. Let me see. Do anyone I know that want to play Nikki? I haven't downloaded it yet. Give me a second. Isn't it like a sexy game? Am I gonna get in trouble for playing it on the internet? On twitch.tv/Camisol Corzette? Choose an install location. Okay. Well, we can see if it downloads quick enough. Oh, God. Y'all, fucking better Nate than Lever. It's so good. It's so good. It's so fucking good. Oh, I have to make an account. Hold on. Date of birth. June 28th, 1985. Yeah, I agree to everything. Can you? Better late than never. That would have been really funny. Hold on, I have to register. Hold on. Gmail.com. Okay, couldn't read that. Create a password. Oh, hi. Did I miss the punchline? Yes. Oh, that's so loud. Hold on. Sorry. I'm sorry. That's so loud. Please select a server. Should I select global or NA? NA? Okay. Like, get my settings so that the sound is not so loud. Required files in all VO contain. Oh shit. Hold on. Shit's happening. Hold on. What the fuck is happening? Hold on. Buddy, you don't still need to be capturing air server. It doesn't want to capture it. It super doesn't want to capture it for some reason. It's okay. It's just downloading files. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's just downloading files. Hopefully it lets me once it's done patching. I know, but the music video, but I can't show it to you. Blah, 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 because it's not letting me. Yeah, I might have to just capture the whole screen, which I was trying to avoid. Hold on. I was attempting to avoid that. Wait, can I? System. General. I don't know that this is going to download in time to do anything today with it. It's only at 2,000 out of 13. I don't know. Maybe it is. We can be right back while it does it. Close your naughty tabs. I guess I don't have any naughty tabs open. All right. Let me be right back while this downloads. We'll hope that it downloads. I'm not going to play too much of it. Because I probably was just going to want to rest my voice for a little bit. But you just hang right tight here. You just hang on right here. Just chill. Just be right back. I gotta go. I'm so sorry. Please don't tell HR. MD, thank you. I'm back. Thank you, Nightmare Detective. Welcome on in. I made a mistake and said something I maybe shouldn't have. Please don't clip that. Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Thank you. Thank you.
It turned the shower on.
Can it not? Henry fears Scott. He'll run from him and hide. He's fled to the west to the other side. But here comes Mildred with unknown intent. Scott lies face down, blind to her descent. Cool. We need the cock. Camisole Corsette has a piss fetish. I want to make that abundantly clear. Apparently, I was supposed to do a ukulele apology for saying "suck me before I fuck me." I'm sorry about the time I said "suck me before you fuck me." No, I'm not. I don't know how to play the ukulele. Oh. Ah! Ah, thank you for the bits. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the gift subs. Oh, Twitter? Oh?
Like it or not.
Eric, fuck. Thank you.
You're here now.
Ah! How to handle this. Thank you so much. Do I get to go outside? I get to go outside! Thank
Like it or
you.
not,
Thank you so
you're
much.
here now.
God damn, those matches. Thank you so, so much. Really appreciate it. Doing a subathon for the first time was definitely a very scary experience. Buddy, what did I fucking say? No one wants you. No one wants you. That's my fault. That was on me. No, no! Happy mirror reward in your throne. A leash! I could go outside? Holy shit, that'd be amazing. 8, 9, 10 jack. 9, 10 jack. Very hot. Maleficent hot, though. Get the damn chocolate. She likes the evil ones? I don't know what you're talking about. There's people who aren't evil that I do like. I still don't know who the fuck this is.
I think this one. I don't know.
Can you translate? No, fuck you.
We're like siblings, chat. Like we're all. I'm the middle sister, and Enos is the baby sister, and Cammy is the older sister.
Shit.
Oh fuck! I really thought it was Mozart. Nice job. I was gonna guess Beethoven, but I thought it was Mozart. I thought Mozart lived like a fucking long time. Did he not?
I guess
Yeah.
not. Fuck.
Hi everyone, this is
Hi everyone, I'm Camisole Corzette. I'm
Part of
Stock
Stock
Agency's captain. I am not Nicole Kidman. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, she just, you know, she's a little quirky. There's a reason she's in a straitjacket. Sometimes she gets mistaken identity.
For a brief moment, I thought I was Nicole Kidman. Hot new model. Do you like me? Do you want to come
What do
in
we
me?
need for twins?
I meant because
we
I'm a sock. I
need
didn't
freezing temps.
because I'm a cum.
I'll go back in.
Because I gotta go. I gotta go. I'm so sorry. Please don't tell HR. Indeed, thank you. It's so good. It was really good. How do you mean that's not halfway? I love these barrels, by the way.
Further than half.
Okay.
You're gonna have to do something here. That was
hold on.
the right thing to do. So I'll see you on the 6th.
Cute. I could always add little games like web
them.
fishing or not web fishing.
Wait, I'm waiting.
Do you want me to put Rapidmon X antibody fishing or whatever? But I didn't know if it was going to be too much. All right, let's see if I can make this. Why won't it capture the fucking screen? Hold on. I think I have to capture my entire screen.
BA-01 down! Please respond! We've been shot down! BA-01 down! BA-01!
Thank you. We're not going to play this for long.
Useless piece of... Commander! I can't get through to the Ark! Commander? No! They're going into cardiac arrest! AED! AED! Charging! Clear!
Ma'am?
Commander! Are you okay? Can you hear me? Smile if you can hear me.
Smile if you can hear me. All right, I smiled.
Finally! Can you tell me which section you're from? All right then.
I don't have many
Up and
choices
at
here,
'em.
do I?
Raise your arms up. STR cleared. Great. Everything is normal. Commander, can you hear me? We were attacked en route to our destination. The transport ship is down. Any Rapture within a 100-mile radius must have heard that explosion and is headed our way. I realize this is all a bit sudden, but can you do it? Yes, Commander. Time to get to work. Keep your head down. Please don't worry. I will protect you. No matter
she'll
what
protect me?
happens. Marion activating combat mode.
Ma'am?
Engaging. I will protect you. I promise.
Okay. How do I do this? Tap the inside of the indicated area and drive to the crosshair. Try moving the crosshair and shooting on your
One more.
own. Ooh. Rapture sent attack signals before attacking. No, buddy, I fucking didn't see. I did not see. Oh wait, I see. What the fuck is happening? Holy shit. Is it Nikki? She'll reload automatically.
Hang in there, Commander.
Nikkei? In your fight against Raptures, you'll encounter high-ranking enemies that act as leaders. These are your targets. You got it, buddy. Mission
Excellent
cleared.
strategy, Commander.
Level up. I just want to roll. I just want to roll and get a cool looking thing, and then I gotta go. High value gems. You'll never condition value. Okay, so this is just like how I assume you roll for new characters. I just started.
All enemies down. Transitioning to non-combat state.
Are you hurt?
I suppose you could say that. Hurt. Or rather, malfunctioning.
It'll be a minute before pulls. Well, I guess we'll get close.
Either way, my mobility hasn't been affected. Commander, this isn't of much use to a Nikkei. Yeah. Nonetheless, I appreciate the gesture.
Holy shit. So
Thank
horny.
you, Commander. I thought you'd be more of a rough and tumble kind of person. Let's keep moving. The rendezvous point should be close by.
I just want to shoot things. Is that too much to ask?
Moving. Encounter. Moving. We're almost there. Are you feeling all right?
It's weird that it won't capture the window.
Your heart had stopped back there, but I managed to resuscitate you. If you're tired of walking, I can carry you.
Why is the voice acting in the horny shooting game so good?
It's nothing, really. Carrying you is like lifting a feather for me. Come on.
I can walk by myself.
If you insist. In that case, at least hold on to me a bit.
Holy shit.
Let me know if you need a rest. Roger. Let's keep moving then. We've got raptures up ahead. I don't see any way around them. Stay here and wait for me. This will all be over soon.
Hey, how to become a voice in this game?
Commencing
Thank you.
battle. I can't keep this up. Reload.
Oh, reloading?
Hang in there,
It hurts.
Commander.
It hurts. Reloading.
Hang in there, Commander. I can't keep this up. Reload.
As the battle progresses, your squad will encounter burst mode and burst skills will become available. Be sure to use them. Okay.
I will protect you, Commander.
Whoa, that was a fast little guy. You see that? He's a fast little fucker. I don't care. I'm taking the damage. I'll take the damage. Whatever. I don't fucking care. You think I fucking care? I don't fucking care.
Excellent strategy, Commander.
Excellent strategy, Commander. Yeah, you too, buddy. You too, buddy.
Moving. Encounter.
I'm surprised
Moving.
it doesn't let me make it full screen.
It should be somewhere around here. Huh? Where is everyone? Did the plan change after the transport ship crashed?
Rat-a-tat-tat-tat.
Gunfire! Let's go check it out!
How long are we going to wait here?
Hello? Anus?
Until they come.
Probably a niece, but you know.
We're sitting ducks out here. We'll wait until they come.
We'll wait until they come.
Did you not see how hard they went down? You saw that explosion. What are the odds of them coming out of that alive?
We haven't received any confirmation of death.
What? So we're waiting here until we do?
This is the rendezvous point. Leaving here would throw a wrench into the works.
God, look
This
at
is
the
absurd.
fucking thigh squish.
Everyone!
You scared me.
I'm Marion. The commander is here with me.
Are you serious? How did you survive that explosion? I get that you're a Nikkei, but isn't that one a human?
Yeah, I'm human.
Something's fishy about this. Are you really the commander?
Yeah, sure am, bud.
Excuse me for a moment. Commander identification code red. The Squad 04F commander has changed.
Rappy, we don't even know them. How could you?
Now's not the time to argue. There are raptures right ahead of us.
Well, that much is true.
From now on, you're in command. As the former commander is unable to issue orders at present, no formal procedures are necessary to transfer authority. The situation is urgent. I'll explain the details once the battle is over.
Understood.
You said your name was Marion? What branch are you from?
I belong to Silvergun. I'm a machine gunner.
God, she's so pretty.
It checks out. Very well then. All right, Commander. What's the next move?
Awaiting your command.
I think the only thing I don't like is the like very
Yes, Commander.
like the way the mouths move.
Let's get this party started.
The voice acting is actually very good though.
Engaging the enemy.
So do you always only? Oh no, there's two fellows there. Change. Okay. Oh God. Oh Jesus Christ. Oh Lord.
Reloading.
You think I'm smart enough for this?
Cover me.
What was I supposed to do? Hello, I'm okay. I'm never going to be able to switch between all of these.
Excellent strategy, Commander.
It's slightly easier on mobile because
Well,
you
that
just
was
chat
easy.
tap. Yeah.
We're Roppy and Anise. Thanks for...
But why did you ask to take the commander up to the surface all of a sudden?
So...
I guess I could have played it on my iPad and then captured
I'm
it from
afraid
that.
so.
I can
Our
always
former
download it onto
commander is
there.
dead. He tried to shoot at the raptures with a human weapon, hurling obscenities at them all the while. He knew that those pea shooters can't put a dent in a rapture.
You two failed in your duties. You let him die.
You're wrong. We've always been willing to protect the commander, no matter what. Even if that meant sacrificing ourselves.
Yeah, your mouth sure didn't move
But
for that
just
at all,
because we're
bud.
willing to put our lives on the line
How
doesn't
do?
mean he'll
Chat
always be
told me to
safe.
play this game.
All right, I was just saying.
Could you tell us your name? Anise.
I'm going to do a little digging. Let me see.
What's wrong?
This commander is a total rookie.
Go fuck yourself, Anise. How about
What?
that?
They just graduated from the military academy yesterday.
Let's move to the commercial street. It's too dangerous here.
Yeah, it would make sense if it was synced to another language. I just want to get hot anime titties. Thank you. Let's check out. Okay. Okay. I'm tapping it. Okay. Cool. Neat. Got it. I understand how this works. Thank you. Cool. Thank you. Event. Okay. Do I gotta go over there or do I gotta go over here?
Get to the target.
I guess it doesn't matter.
Moving. Did you really just take up your post yesterday?
Shut up.
How can a complete amateur be sent to replace a commander killed in the line of duty?
Fuck you.
What were they thinking? What? Nothing. Anyway, if you don't have any objections, I'd like...
Yeah, go on.
Okay, I'll brief you. 46 hours ago, we lost communication with a Nikkei squad that was patrolling this area. They went completely dark, so we decided to send out a search party. During our search, an accident resulted in the death of our now former commander.
The only problem is, the deceased commander is the one who knew the coordinates to our destination. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you?
I would not. Thank you so much for your time and consideration.
I figured as much.
I know the coordinates.
Yeah, I figured that too. Huh?
That information was input into my system when I was sent out on this operation. I'll take the lead.
Oh, okay.
And you... are you called Rappy?
Hmm?
You failed to protect your former commander. Who are you to call someone else a novice?
Okay, get
They're
fucked,
putting
I
their
guess.
lives on the line just like we are. If I ever hear you talk like that again, it'll be the last time.
Whoa, let's settle down. No need to get all riled up.
Fine, I misspoke. I'm sorry.
Don't apologize to me. Apologize to the
Yeah,
commander.
apologize to me.
I'm sorry.
They didn't get themselves into a tizzy? Definitely not an ordinary commander.
What an interesting game, in quotation marks.
Ugh, you idiot!
Okay, so Z, X, C, V, and B, I see. Okay. Cool. Okay.
I will protect you, Commander!
Oh, sure. Okay.
Shall we?
That hit nothing.
Party started!
Hang in there, Commander.
Okay. I'm too old for this game, I think.
I need fire straight ahead.
I'm literally never going to want to...
Reload.
Why is the fucking ass? I was not prepared for this.
Performing reload sequence. Cover.
Jesus Christ, man. I was not prepared for that amount of ass on my screen.
Mission cleared.
What am I even doing?
Are you okay? You don't look so good.
I don't know what it is, but I feel a bit...
Let me do some maintenance. Take off your top.
What?
What? Right
Is there a problem?
What I mean is, the commander is right there.
You don't actually think the commander sees you that way, do you?
What do you fucking mean?
Relax. To them, we're just emotionless fighting machines.
What do you
The
mean?
last thing they're thinking of when they see us is sex. Trust me.
What do you mean?
Isn't that right, Commander? Well, so you do see us that way. Interesting.
I'm fine. It's probably just a small malfunction due to these new surroundings.
Take it off.
Don't make such a fuss, will you?
I said I'm okay.
In the event of a malfunction, it is required that we conduct the necessary repairs. This isn't an option.
I see.
Good. All right, Commander. Please turn the other...
Everything seems okay.
I wanted to watch.
I told you.
Let's keep going.
Hey, I saw that. Just kidding.
I'm so glad I don't have Toby eye tracking on. I don't even know how to set it up.
Orders received.
What?
Okay, moving.
Okay, cool. That's what I'm trying to go to. Man, I just want to roll for hot, sexy ladies. Is
move
that
out.
too much to
Encounter.
ask? Is that too
Get to
much
the
to
target.
ask?
Do you... Art control to surface.
Shifty?
Rappy. Anise?
Communication. This is Roppy. Shifty, do you copy?
About time we got through. What's the situation on your end?
The new commander has arrived. The operational coordinates have been confirmed, and we're proceeding as planned.
Excellent. We had quite the scare back there.
Oh
when
no,
we lost
she's
contact
cute.
with the conveyor. You took the transport ship straight into the middle of an enemy camp? What were you thinking? What? It's completely obliterated. With friends like you, who needs enemies? Raptors in that area have no anti-air weapons. What?
Shifty, can you send me the data for the
Why is her name
transport ship's black
Shifty?
box?
Sure. Once I'm done analyzing it. It won't take long.
Okay, thanks.
Just a sec. Well then. Hello there. I'm Shifty, an operator from the Arc Intelligence Department.
Why is she so cute?
I will be assisting you throughout the operation from here on out. Nice to be working with you. Yep.
She's precious.
Position okay. Starting right away.
What? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
Reload.
Fucking ass though. So she has like a one shot. Okay. Okay. I want. Oh. Okay. Okay. I just wanna. Okay. I just wanna. Am I just. What do you mean? What do you mean you go invisible? What do you fucking mean by that? What do you fucking mean?
Mission cleared.
Use gun on man.
Okay, moving.
Oh, wait. Yeah, baby. Let's fucking go.
Let's move out.
We're about-
Orders received.
I mean, it seems like it's a very easy
Get
game.
encounter.
Okay,
Because it looks like you
moving.
really just click man. Click man, man
High-class
die.
energy detected ahead. What? What's something that big doing here?
I
I'm
suggest
sorry, that's
we
just my
retreat.
penis.
What about the missing Nikkeis?
We leave them behind. Only 0.2% of Nikkeis who go missing are ever recovered. You of all people should know these search parties are just for show.
Well, I can't pretend like they don't exist either.
Yes, they are the ones who lead high. Judging from the simulation, our
Chances
chances
of
of
success
stand
are
at
high, blah, blah,
24.35.
blah.
Commander, should we?
No, I don't want to give up on the search.
please give
We're
the
not
order.
pulling out. Do I look like someone who pulls out?
That's all we need.
Jesus
We follow
Christ.
the commander's orders. Yes, Commander.
Commander, you do so long as our brains remain intact, we Nikkeis are no worse off. It's a different. You're fine with that? Okay, understood.
Commander, please walk behind me.
Oh, I made it just in time.
I'll protect you.
I'm doing like 30 minutes of this before going,
Enemy aircraft confirmed.
Yeah. Oh, a shotgun, you say?
Reload.
I just hate that, like, each time I get thrown in here, it feels like my characters do something different.
Performing reload. Reload.
Ayo.
Reload. Reload.
All I want to do is fast gun. That's all I want. I just want fast gun.
Mission clear.
Oh, that's only. Oh, okay, that makes sense now.
Battle over.
Minimal damage.
Okay.
Same here.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Some damage to the left clavicle, heavy damage to the lower right projector. Abrasion to the left eye caused by a stray bullet. Overall damage rate is 17.05.
Very well. Are you sure that's not too high?
Shut up.
It
We'll be
doesn't
fine.
matter. We're almost there. Let's pick up the pace.
Machine gun is my purse. I put a bandage on Marion.
Commander?
I put on my wizard robe and hat.
Commander, what on earth are you doing?
No, it works. It feels like I'm being healed.
Holy
from the
shit!
inside.
So incredibly horny.
Commander, I could use another bandage here as well.
Where are you pointing?
The pain is gone already.
You lying son of a bitch.
Let's move
I'm guessing
out.
I just have to beat
Orders
this,
received.
maybe, and then wait,
Get to the target.
clean this shit.
Roger.
Marion's very cute.
We're here.
No sight of any Vanguard.
They're here.
What? There's.
Let's look around.
What? Rappy? I finished analyzing the black box from the transport ship.
Yes, Commander.
Whoa! Whoa! Wait!
Marion, stop right there.
Whoa! Whoa! Wait!
Roger.
You shot down the transport ship?
What?
Yes, it does.
Why did she just say yes? It does, and here it says no?
There were 2 explosions inside the conveyor. They were caused by the explosives meant for this operation, which would never go off without an external detonation signal. That detonation signal originated from you, Marion.
Oh, do I like someone who's a bitch?
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. No.
What are you trying to achieve?
We're here.
Start talking, or else I'll put a bullet between your eyes.
We're here. We're here. We're here.
Hello?
Over here. Over here.
She's been corrupted. When did this happen?
Just my luck.
Her central nerve was taken by the raptures. She
I guess
sent
I have to
a
kill her.
distress signal. Stop!
I've got her in my sights. Please.
I'm detecting a high-class energy in front of you. Those vibrations. A black
They're from a
smith.
Hitachi magic wand.
Codename Black
Hi.
Smith. It's a tyrant. They capture Nikes on the surface, and you.
Ooh, wrapped in tentacles, you say? Oh, Darylus, you missed the longest joke in the world.
It absorbed her into its body.
I'm willing to bet the same thing happened to those missing Vanguard troops. We
How
may
could
be
you
able
miss
to
the
save
longest
them.
joke? You didn't miss it. Good.
Even Marion.
Good. Good.
What are you talking about?
I know it's your favorite joke in the world.
After the blacksmith captures Nikes, it keeps them for a while. What do you want us to do?
Do you have to ask?
Your orders, please. Yes, Commander.
I
Are
haven't
you out
played
of your
Nier,
mind? We're gonna.
Anise.
and part of me like really wants to, but part of me doesn't want to because I have associations with someone who really likes it that's actually a giant cunt. And I can't like look at that game without thinking of them, which
The
is
least
tragic.
we can do is try. For them.
Have you found it?
I don't know yet.
Okay, let's give it a shot then.
Shifty. Please
Yeah, I'm
assist.
talking about
Oh,
Nier
okay.
Auto Tomato
Well, first off, the simulation results are.
as opposed to manual tomato.
Yes, Commander.
Yeah, it's okay. They're just a giant bitch cunt.
Engaging with Tyrant 003.
But unfortunately, they
now.
super love the game, so that's all I think about now when I hear
Engaging.
when I hear about Nier. I have similar reasons. Yeah, it kind of sucks when you get those associations. Holy shit! How do you fucking use words?
Cover.
Oh, buddy, hello.
Performing reload sequence.
I just like whatever gun this is, you know. Well, I think maybe I was supposed to, you know, whatever, it's fine. You know, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Performing reload. Reload.
I'm here to offer support.
Cover.
La, 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 la. Shoot the red glowing thing. I'm doing my best. It's really, it's just point and click and stare at ass, huh?
I'm here to offer support.
Easy. Easy every fucking time.
Wow! Victory!
Wow! Victory! Oh shit. We watching anime now?
Considering there was only a 12.4% of success, I'd say that was a job well done.
I'll check the survivors. No survivors from the Vanguard. All the parts have been ransacked.
What about Marion?
Still alive.
Oh shit, she got fucked up.
Over here.
Man, I
Here.
liked her. Fuck this game, actually.
This is bad. Her brain has already been corrupted. We all know the rules. Any Nikkei who has sustained brain damage is to be disposed of. According to the law, the execution must be carried out by the commander.
This pistol is for when we must self-terminate. Humans can use them as well. Just get in close.
Man.
Perhaps I should do it?
No. We Nikkeis cannot execute our own kind. No time to hesitate, Commander. If we don't get this done, she will probably become an irregular soon.
The commander can't save her with his penis? I guess not.
Commander!
Over here. Commander.
Yeah, why'd this get so dark? Why'd this go from horny to dark?
Commander.
I'm a Kawomender, actually.
Thank you for your bandage.
Okay, why is this actually now depressing?
No signs of life.
Official confirmation of death. Our investigation mission is
Sorry,
complete.
but you're terminally
Head back
thick.
to the Ark.
I have to put an end to you.
Damn it.
Hey, what in the fuck, captors? What in the actual fuck? Yeah, we're in the lobby. One free for once a day recruit. I had no choice but to kill the hot anime girl. Okay. Okay. How do I do it? Okay. 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 How do I do it? Okay. Slide up. Oh. Okay, thanks.
Is Florida around here?
Okay. She's cute, I guess.
If you want to be with me, I'll make an exception.
Is this like fucking discount Hatsune Miku?
Soldier EG at your service. Leave it to me. What are your orders?
What are your orders?
Nicely done. Where'd you next?
Don't you know?
Hello,
There's a
ma'am?
fine line between pleasure
Hello?
and pain.
I may be a mass production model, but I will do my best.
Soldier FA, awaiting your...
Nicely done. Where'd you next?
Okay, so I'm assuming this is good. She's good. That outfit was not combat ready. You don't fucking know what the fuck you're talking about, buddy. I'm assuming I want her. I'm assuming okay. Okay.
Ready to go.
Okay.
Need me?
Okay. I want to pull more though. Is that it? Can I not pull anything more? I want to pull more. This is why I can't play gacha
Shifty.
games.
Marion, what's going on? That corruption code implanted into Marion's brain must be acting as a navigator. It guides Nikke's to the blacksmith's location. That way, they're having... But she was acting completely normal before. That's probably because of the commander and Nikke's highest priority. I'm
Okay,
willing to
I
bet
don't
the problem
care.
started that's when her priorities were shifted. She was completely defenseless when in close proximity to the blacksmith. That means the corruption was quite...
When did it start?
What?
When was she first corrupted?
Get the codes too? There's
During
codes?
yeah.
You said she was the one that sabotaged the transport ship, right? And that transport ship came from the Ark.
Are the Aegis barriers broken?
No. The Aegis barriers are strong.
Rappy, what are you trying to say?
Well,
That concludes my report.
Who are you? I don't want any men in this game. Ew.
I mean,
What
they
the
took down a
fuck?
blacksmith,
Ew.
a novice commander with 3 Nikke's, all in a single day.
Yes, sir. However, one Nikke
Oh.
was destroyed during the operation.
If I didn't know any better, I'd say you're starting to develop a sense of humor, Shifty.
Should I forward the combat data to you?
No, that won't be necessary.
Why does he look so different from everyone else? Like, why can't he be a hot anime man?
I would, however, like to
Ew.
meet this commander. Make an appointment for this afternoon, will you?
I'll inform them.
Why does he look like that?
You do that.
Anything else?
Ah, yes.
Ah, yes.
Have the other Nikke's who took part in the operation come along as well. Ensure that they're armed.
HQ
I've never
is
played
calling
Metal
us
Gear
in.
Solid.
Aw, man, not this again.
Oh, it's to reiterate that Nikke's aren't human. I guess so.
So
That
few
does
of
make
you, and
sense,
yet
I
you managed
guess.
to take down a blacksmith. Keep fighting the good fight, my loyal and most subservient of all government lapdogs.
Oh, I'm loyal and subservient.
It's always the same old routine.
Well, we did perform exceptionally well during this last mission.
Let's get this over with. Really? What a...
I don't care. I want to pull more sexy ladies. I want to pull more sexy ladies.
So nice to meet you all.
Oh my god, I hate
I'm
him.
Anderson, Deputy Chief
I'm
of the Central
Anderson,
Government
Deputy
Command.
Chief of Central Government Command.
We can dispense with the formalities.
Okay, Mr. Anderson.
Like nails on a chalkboard. I called you in today because I wanted to conduct a little test. Nothing too difficult.
A test, you
From
say?
here, go straight to the simulation room.
I literally can't click on anything else. Like, it's guiding me to click on that.
There will be someone there, that is all.
You called us here just for that?
Anise,
What? I'm just...
I simply wanted to meet you in person. No
I just
other
wanted to
reason.
meet you in person.
I believe we're done
I
here.
believe we're done here.
One moment.
I don't actually want to ask you a question.
I suppose I have time to answer one
Bitch
question.
looked at his watch to
Just-
see if he had time for a fucking question. Do you know anything about Marion being corrupted, buddy?
Commander, this is not the place to be asking such questions.
What's a good male design that's pleasing to the eyes?
Marion? Doesn't ring a bell.
I just like, it's very jarring, you know?
Oh yes, the other Nikkei who fought with you,
You know,
right?
he's just very jarring.
I heard she was
He
destroyed.
just looks so different.
I'm terribly sorry, but we're conducting an investigation into the operation as we speak. The only thing we are certain of is that the Aegis barriers are... Now, if you don't mind, I have other business to attend to. Hey, let's say someone did corrupt one of your Nikkeis. Let's say they were so powerful that you wouldn't stand a chance against them. Tell me. What...
I'd ask them why.
Well, there must... This sounds like if there's reasonable cause for what's been done, you'll just accept it. Well, I'm not blaming you. You may leave now. I'm sure.
Let me click, no, I don't care. I don't care. I have to click it. It's making me click it. I'm so mad. No, wait, what if I hit escape? Blah!
I'm Ingrid, your coach for today.
Hello,
Welcome
ma'am.
to the simulation room. This is where I'll be putting your combat skills to the test.
Commander? What?
having our
They usually... And
I
isn't
do
that
not
the
care.
CEO of Elite?
this is
No chit chat when I'm
do not care.
Next, you
I
will
hate
face a
that
battle
with that, just I
simulation
hate
in
that
the
what
I
just
can tell
happened.
you. The simulation room is the Ark's pride. Not only can it, but you can all tactics
Okay,
will be
you know what?
essential.
Cool. We don't care.
Treat me well, sweetie. How would you like me to defeat you? Tell me, sweetie. My turn? Tell me,
Sweetie?
It's going to be a bore, isn't it?
Quick battle? Does that mean I don't have to do anything?
That was fast. I'm
That
not going
was
to use
fast.
it on you, am I?
Holy shit.
I guess that was a little too easy for you. I shouldn't have held back. It's going to be a bore, isn't it? What should the first target be? I can do this in my sleep.
Man, I don't know. I'm just shooting things with anime girls and guns, and like I get the appeal of that.
With all this modern technology, reloading useful optics.
I understand.
Let's get this party started! Don't worry.
It's an interesting game.
Done and dusted, old-timer!
It's Buff Legacy, not Butt. For the record. They just let me. Thank you.
Ugh, so tired.
That's great, ma'am. I don't want to go to the surface. I want to pull more anime girls.
Heading up to the surface.
Why do you hate me so much? No, 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 no. I gotta go. Okay, cool. Okay. Fuck. No. Wait. Okay, wait. I have to do this? What is this? Okay. Cool. Save. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Alright, so I simply don't have enough coins to recruit anything else, is the problem here. Oh my god, she's adorable. Well, I did my one free pull, right? I did my one free pull. Oh, I get it again? Yeah, yeah. Give me the serotonin.
This shot will make you stronger.
I don't agree. Okay. I fucked up. I fucked up. That's not what I meant to do. One for each focus pull. Oh. Give me a lady.
Right. I promised to meet with
She's
my new
precious.
teacher today.
Okay, here's my problem though. She looks rather young. I'm guessing that canonically. Do I want to do an ordinary recruit? I have one pass. I'm guessing I want to save those. Or maybe they're only for this? Oh, fuck it. Whatever. Okay, I have to find someone to raid.
Nice to meet you.
Dollflower. You got it, buddy. Okay. Interesting time. Of course. Let me see who's online. The joke was unbelievable. The joke was amazing, okay? The joke, phenomenal. Oh, wait. I have I have something to show you. Save as download. I'll upload it eventually. I have a emote. It's terrifying. You'll see it eventually. Thank you so much. Let me see who's on right now. Yeah, it's a good joke. I mean, it's a good joke. Oh my god, thank you for the cheese. From Throne, the squeezy cheesy. My precious cheese. Thank you for the precious cheese. I just want my cheese. All right, let's do something. Made an angry Cammy emote. Do I not have an angry emote? I have a mad. Okay. Let's see who's on. I'll send you over to Poseidon. I don't know that she's actually there. But I'm gonna send you to her anyways. You have mad that doesn't seem angry enough? I can get an angrier emote. Imagine raiding into an awful. I mean, they're online. I'd raid Nicole, but she's not live yet. I know she will be in a little, but that would be an offline stream. Okay, well, thank you for joining me for the world's longest joke. It is my favorite joke. I love it so much. Go say hello to Poseidon. Get out of here. I think she's sleeping. I'm gonna be so real with you. I'm pretty sure she's sleeping, but you know. I'll see you later. Goodbye. I'll make a schedule for next week later. You know? We'll do some Silent Hill 2 again. We'll do some other stuff. It'll be great. I'll see y'all later. Have fun. Goodbye. Get out of here. Shoo. Goodbye.